Good morning, my students, and welcome to your English class. Today, my children, we're going to have a review of almost all of the words or vocabulary that we have seen so far, including parts of the body and jobs, okay? Now, let's see word by word, and we're going to discuss characteristics of each one of these words, okay? The first one, it's a kangaroo, okay? Please repeat after me. Kangaroo. Excellent. And a kangaroo is pretty much an animal that lives in the desert of Australia, okay? And one of the characteristics of the kangaroos is that it's an animal that jumps, spends all of the time jumps. Kangaroos doesn't walk like a normal person, doesn't swim like a fish. The kangaroos, they jump very high, okay? And they are color brown. Excellent. Let's continue with the second word, the kitchen. Now remember, the kitchen is a part of the house. Remember when we saw parts of the house that we had the living room, the bedroom, the bathroom, the dining room, and the kitchen. The kitchen is the place where mother or father, they cook the meal, they cook the food for us, okay? They cook the eggs, the milkshakes, algunas malteadas o licuados. They cook the meat, la carne, or the soup. They prepare the soup, delicious soup. All of those activities, they perform them, they do them in the kitchen, okay? Let's continue with the third word, which is the knee. Now, if you remember, the knee, it's a part of the body located in the legs, okay? Remember that all of this is a leg, and the knee is in the middle of it. It is in Spanish, it's called rodilla. This is the knee, okay? Very good. Now, let's continue with the fourth word of the review of the vocabulary, which is the back. Now, the back is also a part of the body, and it's located, as the name says, in the back, okay? This is our back. This is the back. All of this conforms the back, okay? In Spanish, it's called espalda, okay? We have the back. Let's continue with the fifth word. The fifth word is the dog. Now, the dog is an animal of the farm, okay? And dogs, another characteristic about the dogs is that the sound that they make is something like quack, 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 quack. That's the sound of the dogs. And also the dogs, they walk in this manner. They are very short and they are color yellow, okay? Very good. Let's continue with the sixth word. We have the milkman, okay? Now, the milkman, it's a word that is part of the jobs. Remember, policeman, fireman. In this case, milkman is the person that brings the milk to our houses, okay? Now, if you remember, the milk, it's a liquid that is colored white, okay? It's not water, it's no soda, it's a milk. And milk, obviously in Spanish, is leche. Okay, so the milkman is a person that delivers the milk to our houses. Just like the postman, he delivers letters to our houses. The milkman gives us the bottles of milk to our houses. Okay, very good. Now, let's continue with the seventh word. We have notebook. Now, the notebook is similar to a book, but there is one difference. All of the pages of a notebook are blank pages, son hojas en blanco. They don't have nothing written. No tienen nada escrito como en un libro, like a book. So, notebook, I'm going to show you. What is it? A notebook, it's completely blank. Está en blanco. Completely blank, okay? Very good. So, here you can do your notes, you can take your notes, you can draw whatever that you want, okay? This is the notebook, and this is a book. These are very different objects. Let's continue with the eighth word. Now the eighth word, it's a color pink. Now let's see if you remember objects that are color pink. I'm gonna tell you one, okay? Remember an animal that makes oink, 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 okay? And it's very, very chubby, okay? Muy gordito. What is the name of the animal? A pig. And the color of the pigs are color pink, okay? Very good. So, if you remember another object that is color pink, you can also tell me objects that are color pink. Okay. Okay. Very good. You remember the color pink. Excellent. Let's continue with the ninth word. The ninth word is pumpkin. And pumpkin, it's an object that is frequently used, frecuentemente usado, frequently used in Halloween, okay? When you decorate your house, you use a lot of pumpkin, okay? And pumpkin is like a big circle, okay? Like a big circle, color orange, okay? And has eyes, ojos in form of triangles. The nose of the pumpkin is also in form of triangle, and the smile of the pumpkins is also made with several triangles, okay? So we have the pumpkin, which if you don't remember, or if you have any trouble, in Spanish is called calabaza, okay? Let's continue with the 10th word. For the number 10, it's again an animal, and this is called snake. Now remember, snakes are very dangerous because they bite. So whenever we see a snake, we have to be very, very careful, okay? We have to stay away from the snake. Tenemos que estar alejados. We have to stay away from the snake. And the snake, remember, it's an animal that lives in the desert and it crawls. Se arrastra, it crawls and make noises like. There are several types of colors for the snakes, but the most common are green and black or brown, okay? Those are the most common colors for the snake. So remember, we have to be very careful. Now, the 11th word is work or job, okay? Work and job, those words have the same meaning. Significan lo mismo, okay? And do you remember what are the most common jobs that we have seen here in the class of the teacher Jacob? We saw the policeman, the fireman, the doctor, the nurse, what else? The postman, the milkman, which is the new of today. Remember the person that gives us milk, the milkman. A farmer is also a job or a work. El granjero, and let's see another one. A teacher, the teacher Jacob, that's a job or a work, okay? Very good. Let's continue with the number 12. For the number 12, we're going to start with objects or means of communication. Remember, these objects, they give us images so we can be informed of what is happening. Nos mantienen informados acerca de lo que sucede. It can be a news, puede ser una noticia, it can be a show, un programa, it can be a cartoon, una caricatura, or it can be a movie, una película, algo que nos transmita algo. Also, music. Whenever you hear music, whenever you hear songs, even though that you are dancing, aunque nosotros estemos bailando, la música contiene letra, contiene información que nos hace sentir una emoción, okay? Very good. So, the object of communication in number 12 is the television. Now remember, most televisions or all of the televisions nowadays have a rectangular form that is color black. And in a television, we can watch shows, cartoons, or movies, okay? Netflix being one of the most common right now. The number 13, for the 13 object, we have the radio. Now, in a radio, we can listen to music, but also we can listen to the news, or we can listen to even shows, okay? But most of all, we can hear music and we can dance to the tune, okay? Very good. Now, for the number 14, we have the movies. Remember, movies is when we sit down and we have several seats around us and we can watch a picture, a movie in a big screen. It's not a television, it's bigger, a bigger screen, una pantalla enorme, a bigger screen. That's movies, okay? And the last one, the 15th word, it's called the newspaper. Now, newspaper was also part of objects of communication, and a newspaper, remember, is basically like a big rectangle that is all covered in pictures, está cubierto por imágenes and letters, okay, or text, y textos, okay, and most of the newspapers, or the common newspapers are in black and white, but there are several other newspapers that have color on the pages, okay? And it's basically to read about the news that are happening in the world. Lo que está sucediendo en el mundo aparece en un periódico, newspaper, okay? Very good, my children. So I hope that you have enjoyed this video. I hope that you have enjoyed the review of the vocabulary, okay? Remember to practice it. Remember to work on your pronunciation. Remember to work on the activities of your daily book. It's very important, okay? Very good. So, as always, don't forget that the teacher Jacob, I love you very much, my children. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.